Go. Alright, so this loading screen's like 20 seconds, so it gives me heaps of time to explain Yooka-Laylee. This game's great, try it please. It's criminally underrated, it's so good. It's going to look similar to Banjo-Kazooie, there's a good reason for that. It's by Playtonic Games, and pretty much a lot of the similar employees that worked on Banjo worked on this game as a spiritual successor. The original version of the game didn't have this cutscene skip here, and I think that put a lot of people off, but with some new patches to this game, it's gone a lot faster. So you can skip a whole bunch of cutscenes, you can skip a whole bunch of text. It's really fun. It's got a lot of the witty, rare stuff, and some inappropriate puns like this snake named Drowser. But yeah, read all the dialogue if you're playing casually, it's a grand old time. So this run's going to be really broken. It's essentially like the equivalent of Yooka-Laylee's 16-star category, like a mid any percent that's a little bit easier of a route. So there is a pure any percent, which is a lot faster than this run here, but we're doing any percent with flight. Essentially, flight just makes the final boss a lot more achievable. Doing the final boss without flight is incredibly difficult. And historically, the reason we used to get flight is because it wasn't really possible to get to the final boss without flight. But now we have many ways to do this. I'm playing on console, and on console, walls are just a suggestion. So we're going to be getting through this wall, hopefully in a sec. This one's one of the more finicky clips. But basically, the game's supposed to run at like 60 frames a second, but the Switch version runs at 30, and for that reason, you can just pause clip through like basically every wall, as long as it's thin enough. This one's horrible to deal with, but the others are okay. There we go. Alright. Oops.
This wall has been a very firm suggestion for you.
This one's probably the worst pause clip in the run. There we go. The other pause clips hopefully will go a little bit better than that one, but we'll see. Actually, this route that you're going to look at here will look very different to the current world record route, and that's because the absolute Yooka-Laylee legend, Nimpulk, has been working tirelessly on this category like over the last couple of weeks. Nimpulk has found this new route for any percent with flight, which skips the roll move, and basically just goes straight in without it. So yeah, that's what pause clips are supposed to look like. They're supposed to be consistent. Yeah, so normally you go through into Grunty's lair, Hivory Towers normally, and get the roll move. It's like a 2-minute cutscene at the start. And we just skip that whole cutscene, but it means we don't have a roll. So right now we're probably about 2 minutes ahead of world record going into this loading zone. But we don't have the roll move, so it's going to gradually seep time off the run as we go through. Usually with roll, you get a couple more pages in that first area. I'm not going to, so I'm going to get the pages in this room instead. There's a trick that can be a little bit brutal here. I'll see if I get it. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is pause clip through here. So that, you're supposed to need a special move to get that one. Moves are just a suggestion. And then we're going to wall clip out here. Now, same as what we saw in Banjo before, the water will only apply to you if you actually hit the surface of the water. If we can get in without hitting the surface, you can walk underwater. This is very much what we're doing with the Bee in Banjo before, so they obviously have the same person program the water physics in this game. And yeah, we can clip into KGs to get pages as well. So yeah, I'll reiterate, these pause clips, they're only really possible on the console version of this game. They used to be possible on all console versions, and now they're only possible on Switch, because they recently patched it out on Xbox and PS4. Switch also has like one bush at the start of the game that you can jump on. With that bush, it just saves yourself a little bit of time. So this little wall here, you're supposed to go through a big maze, but you can just clip through this little door and get through it without dealing with it normally. It's optimal to pause clip out of this maze, but it's not too much slower to just watch that cutscene and get out of the maze normally. We also want to pause clip through here. See if I get it. I might not. I'll show you what I was trying to skip with that pause clip anyway. Literally just walking through that door. So like you're playing this game at a high level. Pause clips just like everywhere to save like 1 or 2 seconds. So the goal that we're really trying to do in this category is get 10 pages. They're basically like the jiggies from Banjo, the pages. And the reason we need 10 pages is to open the casino level. In the casino level, what you need to do is get 1 page in there. It doesn't matter which page it is. And as soon as you get that 1 page, that sort of triggers the event in the game where it will teach you flight. So the whole goal for this first section of the run is just to learn flight, really. So you can get it. Okay. There's a way to get out of that arcade machine in 1 pause clip, but it can be a little bit finicky. We're about to learn a very helpful move from Trouser. It's the glide move. So yeah, glide basically is going to look like Kazooie's glide double jump thing, but it lets you go quite a lot faster. It's one of the few moves we're actually going to learn in the run. So a couple more pages we're going to get cleaning up in this area. This page here is sort of on a cycle, so this whole room is on a cycle up till now. I definitely made the optimal cycle there, for sure. And if you look at the console route for this category, it looks very different. So the console can't do the pause clips. It ends up going into the first level, I'm pretty sure. And it gets a few things in the first level there. The other thing that's really beautiful about this game is like basically every surface is walkable on, like parkour. So like you can just yeah, climb on all sorts of stuff, like the scenery and everything, which makes it really fun to route out in a speedrun sense. Also, we saw Termite skip in Banjo. It's a similar concept there. We're just manipulating the way slopes work. And we're just going to get into that second hub there. Now, if you fall out of bounds there, you basically just have to reset the game, because Yooka will just keep falling forever. It loses like 30 or 40 seconds if you accidentally do that. A little bit of downtime, so if you have anything, go for it.
Yeah, we've got $25 from Board Banana, which says, Yooka-Laylee, put this towards Spyro's big head.
Now, we're sort of going to do like a little new game plus thing. So this is Vendy, or SpongeBob, who has the tonics. And I've unlocked all the tonics on this save file here. And he unlocked them from doing various things. And they sort of stayed unlocked on your cartridge of Yooka-Laylee forever. That's why you're allowed to use them in the run. Using that Athlete tonic is actually slower for this category, but it's a lot safer. Basically, what that Athlete tonic has done is it's restored my stamina wheel. Now, this game came out the same year as Breath of the Wild, so there's a bit of cross-inspiration there, and a lot of the stamina stuff works quite similarly to Breath. But yeah, by having the extra stamina wheel, it just gives me a bit more time in flight if I need it, which will really help for some of the final boss sections. Now this is another one of these really silly pause clips. I'll see if I can get it. There we go. That skips like a 2-second cutscene opening the door. And also, I'm not entirely sure why they programmed it like this, but this is like the one pagey where, like, if you clip into the cagey just, like, opens up. I wish all the cages did that, because then it would mean we wouldn't have to clip out of them, but unfortunately they don't. There we go. So now that we have the 10 pages, we're sort of going to make our way to the casino level here. Now, you need the camouflage ability to get in here, which I'm not going to buy, but believe it or not, we're going to clip through a wall to get there. And that clip's another very tense one, because you can very easily, like, fall out of bounds on that. So yeah, the whole reason we're just aiming for this level is because you have to go into this level and get a single pagey in order to get flight. This level's had a few different routes over the year, but Ninpog's been really hard at working really hard at rerouting this category. Ninpog found a really cool route through Casino. It's faster than the old route, and it's less impacted by not having the roll ability. So the roll ability that we've skipped, I think it's sort of like Talon Shot and Banjo-Kazooie. It's like a faster movement option. You can roll up steep, slippery slopes and stuff, and it just lets you get around quicker. So by skipping it, we skip the 2-minute cutscene, but at the same time, like, all of our movement for the rest of the run is slower because we don't have roll. Also, kind of the annoying thing about running this game is that all the loading times take different amounts of time, like almost luck-based. So sometimes that loading screen will be 30 seconds, other times it'll be like 35. The other thing is, like, sometimes the console version can crash, so you'll tend to see a lot of runners on the PC version for this game. There's also like a cheeky little skip that I did there, jumping over the little sensor that causes the door to close. Just by jumping over that sensor, you know, like, you get through and let it open up again, or you can pause clip through it. But you've probably seen enough pause clips already. So, to get pages in this level, you can't just grab pages normally, you have to, like, trade in casino tokens for them. And it's 10 tokens for a page, so that's what I'm aiming for here. We're just trying to get the quickest 10 tokens that we can, really. There we go, get those 3. There's like backup strats for if you don't hit all 3 out of 3 of those, but they can be a bit finicky to grab in flying. Alright. Here I got this on here, so similar thing, we're going to skip a water level, and getting into this fountain is probably the hardest pause clip in the run. Like, based on how thick the wall is, it may be like harder or easier to pause clip through it. Or like, this wall in particular is kind of like slope. Oh, wow, that was pretty quick. Although I screwed it up. Yeah, so that's what happens if you don't do the clip and just go into the water. Now let's see what happens if you do the clip and go into the water. Oh, god damn it. There's this little ledge that you can land on, and I keep landing on it. It screws you over. Alright. If I don't get this quickly, I'll just go for some backup coins. But oh, far out. Yeah, so this is the thing about the new 80% with flight route. It's faster, but it involves this clip, which makes it a lot harder to do. There we go. Gotta wait for the debris to clear there, otherwise it can really screw you up. Because you have to hit those 3 coins. And sometimes they got really bad hit detection. Kind of like Banjo-Kazooie.
It's almost like it was the same people making this game.
Yeah, funny that. Now, the villain of the game is Capital B. This cashier is definitely not Capital B. He has a mustache, totally different person. Alright, so we got our 1 pagey. That's going to trigger Trouser to spawn in the main area, and he'll want to teach us the flight move. So yeah, it's funny, the on day 1 of this game coming out, they found a way to skip the last door where you need like 100 pages, and it involved flight. So that's where this category sort of has its roots, but on console it's kind of a weird historical artifact that this category still exists. But it's a really fun category to run. It's like 16 star.
So what other categories are in Yooka-Laylee?
Oh yeah, so there's straight 80%, so that basically just goes straight to the final boss and does the fight without flight. Pretty difficult category. Then there's 100 pagey. This is kind of like your 70 star if you're an equivalent. And then there's 100%. Oh, I have to try that again. Yeah, so 100% is pretty long. It's like 4.5 hours. 100 pagey is a really cool category, and Impulse also been doing some rerouting on that lately. 100 pagey is really cool because, like, you can basically clip into all the KGs to get the pages, and it's very fast. Ooh. very fast to get those pages. So it's pretty much just zooming around and grabbing a whole bunch of pages. 100% can be pretty rough to run because same issue with Banjo, like you get the quills, which are essentially the notes, and the quills are pretty difficult to grab. Yeah, and you get this move which is almost like the spin dash from Sonic the Hedgehog, and you've got to like spin dash into all the quills which have very tiny hitboxes, which makes 100% like really quite tricky to run. But actually I have the record in 100% for console, but that's not actually saying too much because console is supposed to be faster than PC, and like my 100% run is slower than the PC one, but technically I've got it. Definitely needs some more optimization and rerouting because in my 100% run the game like crashes in the middle and I lose 6 minutes or something. But it's a very fun category, I'd recommend. Sort of the brutal factor about running this on PC is the speed of the text boxes is influenced by your frame rate. So if you've got a bad PC, you lose time. Apart from that, Yooka does speed up when it lags. I'm doing a little buffering strat that Ninpog found a couple of weeks ago. So we used to just attempt to hit the pause frame, and if we didn't get it, we'd try again. But basically, I've got all my keys bound differently on Switch because you can just do that with Switch games. So my pause button is actually on L, and then the B button to back out of the pause menu is on R2. So like, you can hit the B button to unpause, and then hit the L button again to pause again in a 1 frame window, and that lets you just step forward frame by frame and buffer the clips rather than trying to hit the right frame every time. So with that new tech, it doesn't make the run really faster, it just makes everything a lot more consistent. So yeah, it's a lot more fun to run than it used to be, this category. Now if we thought we were done with quiz shows, we're not. There's another one here. So unfortunately, we don't have an Ninpog skip for this one. Just got to answer through them normally. It's kind of a cool little system. So there's 10 squares, but if you answer the question in under 5 seconds, you can move forward 2 squares. The other cool thing about this quiz is it asks you like tailored questions to your actual gameplay session. So I might get the question like, how long have you been playing for? And then you can just look at like the timer and check how many pages have I stole from the hub. Yeah, 10. But that answer will be different. Same as Banjo, you can get like picture questions on the quiz, and picture question. Oh, there you go. I shouldn't have said it. Picture questions lose time because they have to load the room that the picture's in and everything. I really shouldn't have said it.
You taunted them, and now it's given to you.
It is also a little bit tense because it doesn't normally happen, but sometimes you can just take a bit too long to answer the question and not get it in 5 seconds. The other thing is, because I'm holding the text skip button, you have to read really quickly to see what the question actually said, because it goes off screen very fast. Alright, so we're about 18 minutes in, and I'm about to do like a very long final boss fight. It's way too long. Part of the reason I made the estimate so big is because like it's very possible that I could die in this boss fight, but if I do it well, we should hit about 25 minutes and I'll make up for going over estimate in Banjo.
You're only over by 1 minute.
I was hoping to be not over, but yeah. Oh well, it happens. So you're supposed to have roll to get away from these bees, but Ninpog recently found you can just fly, and you just have to move fast enough to get away from them. I actually don't fully understand how the bees work. One thing I can mention is there's this thing you can go for this fight called a 2 cycle. You get him in 2 cycles if you get that. And it's when you hit him, you got to do like very particular movements to hit him like as much as you possibly can in the little time window. I don't think that I've ever actually gotten a 2 cycle. It's pretty precise and it involves some hectic mashing. So yeah, this is a 3 cycle. But if you get the 2 cycle, it saves like 20 seconds. But the 2 cycle's so hard that the world record run currently doesn't even have 2 cycle in it. Like it's that inconsistent. And yeah, the world record run doesn't use this fancy new rollless route as well, so there's probably a bit of time to save, and I suspect Ninpog could be grinding it down. Alright, so that's the first phase done. That's mostly okay. It's fairly consistent. This is the second phase, and this is probably one of the harder bits of the fight. So you're supposed to have this little ability where you can like suck up plants and like spit projectiles at the boss, but we don't have that. So what we basically got to do is go and attack him physically. But if you get too close to him, he moves away. So you got to like wait till he's in his throwing animation and then hit him like that. And if you get too close to him in any of this, like in the run-up, you just like fly away and you lose like a whole bunch of time. And along with all this, you've also got his little minions chasing you as well. So if you're too slow, they'll actually just hit you. But if you're too fast, you'll make him fly away. It's a brutal pattern. So this phase is actually quite a bit slower without the roll move. So that's one change between this route and the old one. If you got the roll move, you can just like roll straight up to him, slam into him. I think it's like 20 seconds slower without roll or something.
Is the physical hits at a reduced damage, or
For like the difference in timings.
yeah, compared to the way you're meant to do it?
No, I think he takes 15 hits regardless, but what you're supposed to, I can actually show it here, these little plants in those boxes, you're supposed to get those and that like lets you spit projectiles at him, but while he's over here, you can hit him like 5 or 6 times with like one lot of projectiles. So that's what makes it quicker. You probably do this whole sequence twice if you had that like slurpy plant ability. But to get that, we'd have to go into an actual level apart from Casino, and that would just take way too long. Yeah. Surely near. I wasn't counting my hits, so I have no idea when he's going to be finished, but probably soon. Oh. Yeah, and if you lose the fight, you have to do all that again. Pretty brutal. The thing that makes the fight a bit scarier on this route is you have to take 2 damage intentionally in a second. So I do have 6 health for the fight, but in reality I technically only have 4 because I've got to take those damage. What I'm going to try and do here is like lure him into the middle of the arena, because there's a cutscene coming up in a sec where he flies back into the middle. It's just a little bit faster if he doesn't have to travel as far. Now this is the bit where I have to take damage intentionally. So we have the bees back from phase 1 of the fight. Wonderful. These bees will hurt you and stop you from hurting capital B. But if you take damage, the bees sort of just go away. So I have a little setup for when to drop in the ooze here. Then they go away. But yeah, if you just try and do that and you just try and attack capital B while the bees are still around you, like he just doesn't take damage and then you just like screw up the whole fight. So yeah, if the no roll route wasn't hard enough with all the like extra pause clips that are finicky, it's also really hard because you've got to take those damage intentionally in this fight. Normally if you have roll, you just like sort of roll around until the bees go away and then you get him. Oh, I think I've messed up this cycle. Yeah, that's right. So what happened there, you're supposed to like hit him, but one of those little yellow shockwaves was about to hit him, so if I tried to do that, I would have just taken damage. Alright, let's try it again. So we saw the red shockwaves, we saw the yellow shockwaves, and we saw the bees. Now let's see them all together in one big mishmash. Also, this bit always sort of reminds me of like Mario 64, when you get through to the arena as you do it. Go for the setup. That might have been too late. Oh, good. Alright. Alright, good. Now, this bit's really funny. He shoots missiles at you, and he's pretty much invincible in this phase, except that you can just lure the missiles back towards him. Very silly of capital B. This first bit's like really easy. You just go here, you jump to the next prong, and then you like let the missiles come back towards him. The next bit is the bit that I was saying like, oh, I could die. So we'll see if that happens. And of course the hardest bit of the fight is right at the end. Now this is pretty much the distinction between any percent and any percent with no flight here. So this bit here you can do pretty easily without flying. But the next phase, he doesn't just stay in the middle, he really starts just like flying around with his missiles and stuff. So he's going to shoot 2 missiles off here. Then he's going to start flying around. And we've got to lure the missiles into hitting him. So as you can probably imagine, like doing this without the flying move is going to be pretty tricky. There is a way to do it. Basically, what you do is you jump on top of the missiles and you like ride the missiles and you like hit him. It's so hectic. I can't do it. That's why I've never done an 80% run. Some runners can. I'm always very impressed when I see it. There's like setups and stuff for it, but yeah. So historically you would get flight because you couldn't clip into capital B without it, but like nowadays they just keep the category around in case you don't want to learn that silly missile strat. Now I'm very low on stamina here, so you can see why I got the athlete timing. Oh, this might be time. Yep, time. Alright. If you average them out, I'm underestimated, I suppose. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much all for this, but yeah, I was really glad to show this off, and if you haven't tried, you could definitely give it a go. It's a really enjoyable game, and I think they're coming out with a remake pretty soon, so that could be a good time to give it a try. Definitely check out that community, they're very welcoming. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, 8-bit, for those 2 fantastic runs back to back. We've got Super Kiwi 64 coming up next. We still have that incentive open for Doomsday, and that will finish up at the end of the run. So get in your donations now if you want to see that. We've got a 21 and 20 cents anonymous donation that is going towards the Kiwi Doomsday incentive.
Don't understand what's going on here. Don't understand. Don't understand what's going on. Don't understand. I'll say it again. Don't understand. I'll say it again. Don't understand. I'll say it again. Don't understand here.
I felt like a boonga butterfly. Felt like a boonga. It's so easy. Felt like a boonga. Felt like I felt like a
Don't understand what's going on here. Don't understand. I'll say it again. Don't understand. I'll say it again. Don't understand what's going on. Don't understand. I'll say it again. Don't understand what's going on. Bingo. Go.
We have got a $250 donation from Blindfolded Zelda, which says $250 for Cure Cancer Oz. Put it towards the Blindfolded Necro Final Fantasy IX run, and the remaining $120 towards the Go Back to Akala Tower for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Thank you so much. Starting to pick up a couple. Alright, looks like we are ready to start, so take it away, Paragon.